Hello everybody, welcome back. So we're going to talk specifically on RLY, or the Rally token. So this was something that's been put on my radar by one of my Patreon members, actually. Very grateful to him. I've been looking at it basically for an entry. I was unwilling to go in on it as it was moving up, and I thought I'd sit patiently and wait for any kind of significant, well, maybe not significant pullback, but a decent entry. And to be honest with you, it does look as though for me an entry has now become available. So if let's face it, okay, Bitcoin is still relatively high on what I expect the range is, which is between 40 and 49. Of course, we can break out today, right? That could happen. I'm not saying it's going to, but this is likely to be, in my opinion, the range, right? However, you know, when you got money burning holes in your pocket like me, it's a joke, by the way. I'm not one of those millionaire traders and blah blah blah. But I mean, I suppose you've got to stick to your own practices, measure the risk to reward, and work out if it's something that you're willing to take a risk on. Because obviously, everything that we do within crypto is a risk, and so I thought, well, you know, I've got to bite the bullet at some point. And judging by this formation, and again, this is a weekly, it's not a very old chart, to be honest with you. It's really not a very old chart at all. And we do have this kind of triangle, a descending triangle, which unfortunately is more likely to break down than it is to break out, but I'm going to stagger my entries on this one, the first entry being at this level of support, because obviously it's a support, and if the market turns around, then we're likely to turn around from here. Now, for those who are a bit more, I suppose, with less risk appetite, and that's fine, especially when you're dealing with shitcoins, because this technically, you know, it's not an actual shitcoin, but I'm going to call it one until it's made a new higher high. Basically, I think that's the best way to look at these things. Because if we think about what we're looking at here, the all-time high over here, currently we're down 77%. That's not the hallmark of, you know, a block of gold, or is it? Do you know what I mean? But if for those with less risk appetite, trading a formation like this, what you'd want to do is you'd want to see it either break out or break down. Okay, so let's just say we broke out. You don't sort of go straight in for the breakout trade unless we get closing candle bodies, you know, outside of here for a few days, and then we get these moving averages sort of come out of there too. They all offer extra support for when we come down to test it. That's probably the most sensible way to trade something. At the moment, this isn't the most sensible, but it is based upon a relatively long-standing support. Again, this coin is less than a year old, so it's not that old. So normally goes against everything that I stand for, but sometimes you've got to be in it to win it. So on Kucoin, and it's on some other exchanges, including crypto.com actually, and I'll show you something about that in a minute. So for those who want to, unless you already have a Kucoin account, I got links in the description below. It gives you kickback on your fees. I've got links for everything, by the way. Right, so if you wanted to trade the breakout, that would be a more sensible way to do it. But for me, I'm going to add to, well, I have already this morning added to this position. When I say added, I've created a position in it right now. And if it breaks down further, which it could, and look at this, I just want to show you there's no support below us right now. The only thing that we've got going for us is the starting price, which is a further 46% drop. Now, it kind of reminds me a little bit of how the AI chart, in a way, worked. So we had all this breakdown here. We had this is a weekly support around 2.2 cent, which held for a while between 2 and 2.2 cent, and then it broke down because we were still inside this. You know, imagine this purple box being your bottom level of support, descending triangle. All right. So I took a position around 2.2 cent. We broke down, and then when I saw that we broke out of this this consolidation, or this downwards resistance, I thought, okay, let's add to it some more, as we see that we're at least out of the downwards trend of resistance. So I added more to it there, and it kind of worked out. Obviously, it's not looking particularly strong at the moment, I have to admit. So this is what I'm trying to explain. So those who've got, you know, are okay with extra risk, you could try and buy within the support, but it might not work out because these formations are actually bearish formations. They're more likely to break down than break out, but again, you've got to be in it to win it, I suppose. And so I am actually in it, but don't be fooled into thinking that buying it this support is going to be the strongest thing you've ever seen in the world. It might not be, but if it is, then it should work out. Now, if this formation does resolve, you know, to the up from here, you could do a measured move from the mouth of this formation. Again, these are just rough, crude measurements. So let's just say we broke out I don't know, some point mid-January, we would be looking at a price of about $1.23 or thereabouts. So teasing its way to the all-time high. You'd measure it from my entry, which again, some of it is here, maybe entering it a little lower. That'd be a 262% move at best. At best. Again, you don't just wait for that to be hit. I would be looking at this, relatively often to measure how overextended certain aspects of the chart would be. Mostly the money flow index, RSI, and things like that, to see if there's any telltale signs that the momentum is slowing. And at the moment, there's no real there's nothing bullish about it particularly, other than we have. Well, to be honest, we do have bullish divergence form on the 4 hourly, so there is that. But other than that, and the support that we're at, there's nothing really to talk about particularly, other than the fact that I'm adding this to my shitcoin collection on Kucoin. So as you can see, I did a video on all the shitcoins the other day. So these are all the shitcoins I own on Kucoin and Omi on Gate.io, which is actually having a nice day. So we've got VRA, AI, Bepro, Uno, RLY, and I think there was another one, but I must have got rid of it. I have a feeling there's another one. Maybe there's not. Maybe there isn't. So that is the deal. That is my new entry, and again, it's based upon that major level of support, this giant formation, and hopefully breaking to the out over the next 4 to 6 weeks. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. This is always the nature of any kind of trade. I balance the risk to reward. The reward is higher than the risk. Even though the risk is relatively high. This is what you get when you trade on Kucoin. High risk, high reward. So we'll see where it goes. One thing I was going to quickly show you is when I was actually looking at it, we have a look on crypto.com, and I noticed that it's actually got a lot of fiat pairs to it. This isn't the most common thing you'll ever see, lots of fiat trading pairs, but it does actually have fiat trading pairs. And so for a crypto to have fiat trading pairs is actually quite telling for me for it to be able to trade it like that. I mean, it's not across the board, but there are, like I say, 2 exchanges here that both trade in euros, pounds, and dollars. So that adds a little bit more weight to it. But the one thing I should stress to you is that the trading volume is tiny, right? This can have devastating effects on a further drop, because it wouldn't take much for this to trickle down to, well, next to nothing, and it also limits the amount that you could put into a trade like this. And also, if it were to break to the up, and for whatever reason this catches some kind of traction, then actually this is where the significant gains are likely to be made, because it wouldn't take much for, let's just say, well, for this move to be created, several million pour in on this over a space of a week, and you could get those green candles. I mean, that's a blanket statement, but I mean, that is basically the beauty of trading something that's got low volume. So you can't trade it with lots of money, because if you put too much money into this, you would likely move the market yourself, right? But for a little bit of, a little fritter, a little piece, a little tiny percent of your portfolio balance could go into something like this, and it could work out quite nicely. So we'll wait and see. Like I say, if it breaks down from here, it breaks down. I'm prepared for that, and I might add to the entry later on, but only if we break out of this formation. For the moment, I've taken a position here based upon supports, and as opposed to that bullish divergence on the 4 hourly. Overall, though, Bitcoin is going to dominate this market for the moment, and if Bitcoin can't pull itself out into those areas, and the main areas of bullishness is this purple box here, starting at $53,000 or $54,000, ending at $57,000, $58,000, in this box or above, then yeah, the market's going to seem very bullish again. But currently, we're not. We're actually below all major moving averages on the daily, and there are glimmers of hope on this, I have to say. When we're turning up on the MACD, we're snaking up on oscillators down here, and I imagine the 4 hour is looking okay as well. So yeah, it's not looking too good. It is what it is. There's nothing to it. So Bitcoin is neither here nor there, but like I say, you got to bite the bullet sometimes. And again, I'm not here to trade for you. I'm not a financial advisor, but I've taken a position in this now, and I'm relatively optimistic about its outcome. Right, thanks for watching, guys. Patreon live stream tonight. Hopefully, I'll let you know in advance if I have to cancel it, because my daughter's still not very well. She's like a little hot butterbean at the moment, sweating profusely, braving through it. So I might not be able to do the stream tonight, but my intention is that we will. But like I say, no guarantees, unfortunately. But if I can't do it tonight and she's better tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow instead. Right, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a nice evening, nice day. In fact, it's still quite early. Take it easy.